America and people throughout the free world owe you a debt of gratitude that can never be adequately repaid. You know, Anchorage has always had a very special relationship with our military. My administration will work diligently to not only maintain but to strengthen that relationship. When your military service is through, I hope that you're the kind of citizens that choose Anchorage as your final home. These are the kind of folks we want living here. It's just the best of the best. Whenever possible, I'm going to work with our congressional delegation, Mark, and our state leaders who are out here to advocate for the pay these people deserve while you're in uniform, the benefits they deserve when their service is through. If we can give billions of dollars to companies that are failing out there, and we can't adequately pay these guys for the work that they do, that is just not right. Not right. You know, I ran for office on a platform that I don't think is an unfamiliar platform amongst mayors. We all talk about the outstanding quality of life that we enjoy in Anchorage, Alaska. And I emphasize 4 key areas that I think are really essential to maintaining that quality of life. And these 4 areas will be of immediate attention to my administration. The first item, of course, is the development of a responsible budget that's conservative in its revenue estimates and controls spending. Our recent revenue projections show that this year's budget, despite the good work by Mayor Matt and the recent assembly reductions, may still be short by several $1 million. We're going to take immediate action to control city spending. We're going to be implementing an immediate hiring freeze. We're curtailing all travel. We're going to manage our overtime more strictly, and we're going to eliminate all unnecessary expenses and positions because we have to do it. You know, when citizens give up their hard-earned money to government, they have the right to expect that that money will be spent wisely and effectively, and we're going to do just that. You know, with the budget challenges that we're facing, I'm also going to reach out to the community and ask you for your additional support. Anchorage is famous for our charitable giving and for our volunteerism. I'm going to call upon the individuals in the business community to redouble their efforts this year so we can continue to provide services to those of us in our community who are most in need. And like I say, Anchorage has always been very, very generous, and we're counting on that generosity again this year. You know, it's also essential during these challenging times to work effectively with our state and national leaders. I have an outstanding working relationship with Governor Palin and her staff, with our state legislative leaders, with Congressman Young and Senator Murkowski, and I look forward to working with Senator Begich in his new role. You know, philosophical differences are quickly forgotten when you have the common cause of doing what is best for Anchorage and for Alaska. And again, I look forward to working with you, Senator. You know, we're going to put together a legislative plan to combine state and federal resources, help leverage our local funding so we can accomplish our community improvement goals and keep Anchorage moving forward. You know, the second most important responsibility in government is to provide a safe community. We cannot enjoy the quality of life that we expect and deserve if we're fearful of crime in our streets and in our public places. You know, we've got a mixed blessing. Overall crime in Anchorage, Alaska is down, but unfortunately violent crime is on the rise, and that's just simply unacceptable. Aggravated assault is up 60% in 6 years, robbery up 59%, simple assault 35%, and the terrible crime of rape is up 8% in our community. But when you're already one of the nation's leaders in that horrible statistic, any increase is unacceptable. You know, I had the privilege a couple weeks ago, just out of the blue, I get a call from the office of Rudy Giuliani. And Rudy's in town, and he wants to meet with me. And so, of course, I told him, well, I'm kind of busy. No, I had a great meeting with Mayor Giuliani, and we had a chance to talk about crime and how do you deal with it. When he first ran for mayor of New York, that was his platform. And he knew that if he didn't deliver, he wouldn't be a second-term mayor of New York, where, quite frankly, the ratio of Democrats to Republicans, he ran as a Republican, is about 10-1. So he had to perform, and he had some good advice for me. You know, one of the things that he did that people thought was impossible in cleaning up Times Square and other areas in New York was he established a zero-tolerance policy on visible minor crimes, because he knew they lead to bigger crimes and an attitude that the community just doesn't care. So that was his first goal. And second, he did something that I've read, the chief of police of Chicago has also said, one of the best ways to fight crime is you put your cops where the crime is. And that is what we're going to do. And how do we know where to put them? Well, one of the first initiatives that we're going to introduce is we're going to audit how we deploy our police department and make sure that they're in the right places at the right time. You know, we've got a great police force. They're highly trained. We've added over 80 officers over the last few years, and we need to make sure this valuable public resource is being used to its best and highest use. So that'll be our first initiative. When it comes to public safety, obviously we can and we must do a better job. Every citizen has the right to feel safe in our community. A third point that I worked on during the campaign and talked about, and it was basically how to spend our capital dollars. You know, we've built some wonderful new buildings over the past few years, including the museum expansion, our new convention center, and I have fully supported these facilities because I truly believe great cities are known by the quality of their public facilities. If you think about any great city in the world, that's one of the first things that comes to mind is, you know, their museums and convention centers and other public facilities. But it's time, however, for us to look inward and focus on maintaining our existing public facilities. Now, during my time on the Assembly, we supported Mayor Begich's administration in a renewal program for our Project 80s facilities, including new roofs and other major improvements. The New Parks Foundation has done a great job leveraging money to help stretch our bond and grant dollars for park improvements. My administration will continue and expand those efforts. For example, when people pay hundreds of dollars an hour to use our ice rinks, they actually have the right to expect showers and bathrooms that actually work. I think that's not asking too much when you pay those kind of prices for our facilities. Now, our maintenance division has a long list of priorities. We're going to do our best to catch up. We have an obligation to the community. When we build something, we need to maintain it, and that's going to be the focus of our capital program going forward. Thank you. The fourth thing I talked about, and maybe even the most important, is we're facing an energy crisis that requires an immediate solution. And again, it may be the most single important issue facing us today. 40 years of cheap and accessible cook-inlet gas has allowed Anchorage to grow and to prosper. We use that gas for both our heating and our electrical needs. And those supplies are dwindling. And without a plan to provide energy for Anchorage's future needs, we will not continue to progress as a city. More urgently, peak demand during the winter months, particularly when the temperature drops below zero, have put our entire system in jeopardy over the last 2 years, and this is unacceptable. I will appoint an administration official to work at the top levels of government and the top levels of industry to develop an energy plan and to secure energy supplies that will lead to a secure energy future for Anchorage. Again, I can't emphasize enough how important this is to all of our residents and to all of our businesses.